Welcome to SuperTalk, the podcast that scratches your superhero itch. Just two suburban dads nerding out over superhero stuff on the small screen and the big. Buckle up, people. Enjoy the ride. All right, the burners are lit. Let's get cooking.
Love it.
Yeah. YouTube, thank you for watching.
Thanks, YouTube.
Give a thumbs up and smile. And then I'll screenshot that for the thumbnail.
All right.
All right.
We should do the Franco Day.
In 3.
Welcome to Super Talk, the weekly podcast dedicated to news and reviews of comic book media on the big and small screen. This is episode number 59. I'm your host, Brian Professor Pettis, and with me, as always, is my illustrious co-host, Titanium Tony Estrella. Titanium, as we were just discussing, a big week in front of us. We've got the Batman coming out on Thursday night, and we are cautiously optimistic for this to be a decent movie.
Yeah, like I said, I'm my expectations, I've lowered them after that one clip. I've gone dark on...
we have to, and by the way, I think the premiere is tomorrow night, and so we have to go dark like the rest of the week because you know the spoilers are going to hit the wire.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going on social media and looking for any of that. I'm not playing any more of these clips. The one clip I saw kind of was okay, and it really kind of turned the notch of my excitement down a little bit. So I'm going to go in pretty even keel. I'll go in like I did with the Eternals. I didn't expect much out of that. I was very hesitant and pessimistic about that movie, and it exceeded my expectations. A good movie, not fantastically great. So much packed into that, but you know, we'll have fun.
Well, this is your favorite superhero character, though.
He is,
and you really want them to do right by him.
That I put a lot of that pressure on myself now, you know, because I'm really nervous. Just like you will be when The Flash comes out.
Yeah. Well, he's my favorite DC character for sure.
Yeah.
But again, just like you have some, you know, ill will harbored towards Iron Fist that came out on Netflix because of who they cast as Iron Fist. I've never been a big Ezra Miller.
You've stated that
fan.
100 times.
So I again, very hopeful that movie does well. And again, it you know, from my perspective, I mean, you and I grew up in the era where we saw that Flash TV series.
So good.
The first one that came out when we were kids, and it was like, oh my gosh, this superhero has come to life on TV. And you know, the first time he vibrated through a wall, I thought I was going to like go crazy. I mean, this is like the craziest thing ever. I just, you know, I hope they do it right. I'm very hopeful that DC seems to be at least investing in people and characters and character-driven movies, and I hope that pays off this week. So we'll see. On Thursday, we'll see, and guess what? If you guys want to talk to Titanium about the Batman movie, he will be at the Fairfax Comic-Con at Chantilly Expo Center this coming Saturday. So we'll see the Batman on Thursday night, and then it'll be fresh in your mind and everybody else's mind when we go to Comic-Con on Saturday. You will be there meeting the fans, giving away some swag, talking about the Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talking about the Batman, and gathering some questions for the show that we'll record probably Sunday. So I'll talk to some fans. Let's hash out Batman. I'll tell you how I truly feel about it, and then well,
I'll tell you, there will be no lack of opinions in that place. I'm sure you will get plenty of opinions there.
I possibly might have some special guests show up at the table to support Titanium, but we'll see.
Ooh, in costume,
smoke shows, but we'll see. I'm not going to make any promises.
All right. Well, so just a reminder: please go to the Fairfax Comic-Con at Chantilly Expo Center this coming Saturday. Support Super Talk. Give Titanium some love. I don't even know what the entry is into the Comic-Con. It's got to be like $10 or something to get in there or whatever.
Less than that, but yeah.
Right. You know, hey, walk around, see what some of the vendors have. hopefully Titanium doesn't sell the comics that I give him to show off at the Comic-Con.
There's plenty of comic book sellers there if you're interested. I think there's an array of things.
He might get an offer he can't refuse, though, so we'll see.
Well, if I do that, I will be texting you. But there's everything from face painters. There'll be tons of food people there. It's a lot of superhero stuff, a lot of comic stuff, a lot of crafts, a lot of artists.
Swag, like if you're looking for, comic book figurines, and anything, decorations. I mean, sure you can get. I mean, I hope. I mean, our set may look a lot different next week, depending on what you come home with.
That's true.
All right. Well, so don't forget about that this coming Saturday. We also want to thank the patrons. These are the listeners that help bring the show to you. Patreon.com/SuperTalk. These guys donate $1 for every episode that we release. And it's a way to support the show directly. If you want to sign up, patreon.com/SuperTalk. Thanks for those of you that have done that. And we love you, and really helps do things like go to Comic-Con. So it helps kind of fund that effort for us. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate that. The fans that donate on patreon.com/SuperTalk. Big time fans, and we really like you. Don't have to be a huge fan, just support the show. If we can give you one or two tidbits that you can take into the theater or watch a series with some more knowledge, then it's worth it.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into the review section this week. No new we'll say comic book movies or TV shows to review this week. We'll have some next week when we do the Batman review.
Sleeper week.
That being said, I did want to talk about a couple of things during the review section this week that are somewhat comic book related, and we'll kind of talk about why. So the first one is Reacher, the series that was out on Amazon Prime. It stars Alan Rickman, who's played Hawk in the Titans series on HBO Max.
A better looking John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Alan he's a good looking dude, and stacked as well. The guy is a
ripped.
Yeah, he's ripped. So Reacher came out on Amazon Prime as a limited series. You might remember the Jack Reacher movies that starred Tom Cruise. There were two of them in the theaters. And I know, from hearing things on the internet that when Tom Cruise was cast as the character Jack Reacher, everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute. That doesn't seem right. If you read the books, Jack Reacher is this larger-than-life human who's just like a big dude with a huge heart that happens to be, also a badass. Mm-hmm. And so there was a lot of people who were big fans of the book series that were not happy that Tom Cruise was cast in that role.
A lot of pushback on social media.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like, I think, the more accurate depiction of the character in this limited series on Amazon Prime. And you and I both watched it. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought it was great.
Same.
He did an awesome job.
Yeah.
Number one, did an awesome job of playing the character. But I thought the show and the plot, everything else was incredibly entertaining, and I felt it was, and some of the side characters and supporting characters were also really good. I just thought it was great.
Yeah, same. Very good, well written, well put together, great acting. And he did a hell of a job. It's fun.
I hope he gets another one, because he really did, I think, earn playing this character again. And Amazon's looking for new content constantly. Same way that John Krasinski got the Jack Ryan role on his series on Amazon as well. I think this is something that Alan Rickman can kind of move forward with and do another. I mean, I'd watch it again. It was that entertaining. So
gory as shit, very explicit. I mean, it's Amazon Prime, so it's definitely R-rated, but really good.
Yeah, really good. And again, I mean, we were fans of Alan's from his work on Titans, so was worth a watch for us. Just to say, hey, this is a guy that played Hawk. He's playing Reacher, and we're like, oh, well, let's take a look at this. And I was pleasantly surprised. So again, not comic book related whatsoever. That being said, it's worth a watch if you guys are looking for some content. And then I just last night. You were out of town. You were down at James Madison University. Spent some time with your daughter and some other yuhas that were going crazy.
A lot of yuhas.
So I went out last night and watched Uncharted. So this is a movie that was in the theaters with Tom Holland and
Mark
Wahlberg.
Uh-huh.
And based on a PlayStation video game called Uncharted. And again, I had not played the video game. I was not familiar with it, so I kind of went in, kind of blank, didn't know what was going on. And from what I understand, talking to my son, he's like, well, if you had played the game, you probably would have appreciated it more because there were some scenes in the movie that were taken directly from the video game. I'm like, oh, okay, that might have been cool if I were a video game fan of that particular game. But I was underwhelmed. I thought the movie was okay at best.
Wow.
And, I mean, I love Tom Holland. I think he's great. I think it's so hard not to see him as Spider-Man, which is, and I think that's the fear that these actors have is that they get typecast a little bit.
Yeah.
He played a very good character. I think he played it well. And I enjoy watching him on screen. I think he's very fun to watch, and I like him. Yeah. But even like, the little grunts and squeals that he makes when he jumps up walls and stuff is like the same ones he makes when he's Spider-Man. And I'm like, wait a minute, why can't you just jump over that? Because you're Spider-Man. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was bad. It was okay. I don't know how it's doing in theaters, but I thought it was, all right.
I think it's the number one film. I think it's doing very well.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised.
Not much else out.
There's not much else out right now, right? So, yeah. But, hey, if you're a fan of Tom Holland, it's worth a watch. I know there are a lot of Tom Holland fans out there that are not Spider-Man fans, but hey, go check it out, I guess.
Yeah, go check it out just to see Mark Wahlberg with a really creepy mustache.
That in itself is fun. He didn't have a creepy mustache in that movie.
Yeah?
No.
Huh. Okay.
All right, so let's get into the news section this week. We got some news that was dropped by Sony earlier in the week. So Spider-Man No Way Home, the movie that is still in the theaters and still bringing in money. I'm sure it's still doing okay. I'm sure it's still in the top 10 of the weekly box office. They've announced that movie is coming to digital March 22nd. So, really, a little over 3 weeks from now, that movie will be available on digital for on-demand and to purchase digitally on the 22nd of March, and it's coming to Blu-ray April 12th. So, 3 weeks later, it's coming to Blu-ray. That seemed early to us, right?
Really early. That's the first thing I texted you. I said, man, that's early. But could this be a new business model that these production companies...
Straight from the theaters to digital?
Well, not straight from the theaters, but once it's run, I mean, the thing's made over $1 billion. I mean, there's not much else they can squeeze out of the movie theater goers' pockets. I think they got it all. But I think it maybe, while it's still hot, it's still top of mind.
The momentum is still there, right?
Maybe still grab a hold of it.
I would not be surprised if this is one of the top selling digital movies. And what I mean by selling is, you can either rent it or you can buy it.
Yeah.
Usually the way that digital releases work, it's like you have a week where you have to buy it, and then at some point in time you can rent it. I would not be surprised if this is not one of the fastest selling or most successful digital movies ever. Like, I think it's just going to do so well. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
This is a movie I want to own and be able to watch however many times I want to, right? I mean, and the other great thing that's coming with this, which we don't get in the theaters, is, and we got some clips of some of these this week as well. We now get some of those behind the scenes, footage that didn't make the movie. Not only like cut reels and gag reels and things like that with all the different characters, but we also get some scenes that just didn't make the movie. And from what we've seen, some of them are really cool, and I'm like, I want to see all those too.
Yeah. I'll probably wait for the DVD. Who am I kidding? I'm going to get it on digital and then get the DVD as well.
Get the Blu-ray as well, right?
Yeah. Because I want to hear that sound and everything. The full effect of it. So. And
that I don't know what your opinion of this is, Titanium, but digital's great. I mean, I love being able to stream the movie whenever, wherever. That's fantastic. But playing the Blu-ray does make a difference.
Sure.
Like, the picture and the sound is just that much better.
Yeah, the sound is tremendous.
Yeah.
So, I'm definitely going to get the DVD. I'll probably get the digital, of course, but I'm really excited for the DVD.
Yeah. So, again, we're like a month away from that, which is crazy. I can't believe we're going to be watching that movie again in a month, which, I mean, I've already seen it twice. I will see it again. There's no question.
There's no question. Yeah, I'll watch it several more times.
It's that good.
Yeah, I'm still watching, Far From Home and Homecoming over and over again.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, how many?
I've seen it a lot.
Right.
So good.
All right, and another big announcement for Marvel this week, and we're going to get into this a little bit. They updated us on the official release dates of their movies and their movie release schedule all the way through 2024. So this is like big news. You and I have been talking about this on the show for a while, especially with Disney Plus. They've been reluctant to give us dates of any of this. We know all the stuff that's coming. Just give us dates. Well, they haven't been doing that. And we had some dates in the can for movies that we knew that were coming through mid-2023. And we're like, okay, look, we know you got other plans. Like, give us some other stuff that's happening. And we haven't heard anything. Well, we finally got an announcement from Disney this week. And not only did they change some of the dates, and some of the changes were positive changes, but they added a bunch of dates that we didn't know about. And you and I can now suppose what would be in those dates for the untitled releases. So let's go through them. So first and foremost, we know Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is coming out May 6th. That was actually moved from May 4th. So it was originally scheduled to be released on a Wednesday, and they pushed it to Friday. I don't know why, but they did update that and say the official release date is May 6th. As we know, it'll be out Thursday evening, the 5th. But the official release date prior was on a Wednesday, which is kind of strange, but now moving to a Friday.
I believe that Wednesday, May 4th, is going to be...
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Obviously, I think it's also going to be in IMAX that one day as a special preview.
Oh.
So that is
we need to work on tickets for that.
That'd be nice. That'd be fun. May the 4th be with you.
we need a hookup. So that's one change, but not just a minor change, not a big one. The other one that did not change, Thor: Love and Thunder coming out this year, July 8th of this year. Rumor is we're going to be getting a trailer for that movie very soon. Maybe this week. If not this week, next week. I do believe we're going to get that trailer for that movie before Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness premieres in the theaters.
Agree.
So that they'll have it to front that movie when it is in the theaters. So usually that's a week or two before. But I would not be surprised. I mean, if you look at the timeline between when the movie's released and when we get our first trailer.
Yeah, about 136 days, 124 days, somewhere in that general area. Usually
Well, think about it. Spider-Man No Way Home came out December 14th or something like that.
Yeah.
And we got with that movie the first teaser for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which came out in May.
Yeah.
So if we were looking 2 months later, right? Because that's coming out in May, and that was December. So February, June, July. That's 2 months left. So we should be getting something soon.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if it comes out this week, great. Next week, great. I mean, we'll break it down. We'll talk about it. But I'm excited for that movie.
Week. I think they're going to let Batman run its first weekend by itself. And then they're going to take the following week take a little steam. So not this week, after this.
I like
coming
that theory.
Weekend. Yeah, take a little steam away from Batman. Throw the Marvel name back out there so that you're talking about something else besides the Batman. So that's my theory.
I like that theory, and I think everybody's really excited to see Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher in full costume or CGI or whatever they're doing with that, and how they're going to portray him on the screen.
Well, the Lego set, did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
He's got the Necro Sword.
Yeah.
So we know he's going to have the Necro Sword, which is really badass and cool.
And there's some really, we won't get into it on this show, but there's some really crazy history behind the Necro Sword. There's a god out there, or was a god with a small g, who's the god of symbiotes.
Symbiotes, yeah.
Who is responsible for Venom, the creation of, or the race of alien beings that Venom is part of, is the one that created the Necro Sword. So Null is the name of the character. So it'd be interesting to see if that does end up tying in at some point in time. But anyway, the fact that he has the Necro Sword is going to be really cool.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool reveal.
Yeah, and obviously we'll have plenty of time to talk about that movie and get into the characters and everything else as we move forward on Super Talk and we get closer to that movie in July. But
yes, definitely stay posted. The professor will break down the characters and how they relate in comics to what we're going to see in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, that's July 8th this year. And then we have the next one on the schedule is Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, which is November 11th. That date hasn't changed. We know that there were some interruptions in production because of injuries to some of the...
What's her name? Leah something, I don't know.
I think it's...
Shuri.
Yeah, Shuri, the girl who plays Shuri. She was injured, so there's some production delays, but we were told that they resumed production right after New Year's, and that movie is moving forward. So we believe that that's still going to be on schedule. No delays announced there. The next movie on the schedule, The Marvels, premiering February 7th, 2023, and we anticipate that's going to have 3 Marvels in it. We're going to have Captain Marvel. Brie Larson will have Ms. Marvel, which we believe is going to premiere sometime on Disney Plus later this year. And then we have Photon / Spectrum / whatever her name is going to be from the WandaVision series also in that movie.
So I think they should drop Ms. Marvel on Disney Plus before this movie comes out.
So you think that that's going to be delayed all the way until like December? And so it premieres kind of closer to the release of this movie?
Yeah. I think it'll be at the end of...
Because we were told that Ms. Marvel was pushed to the summer. But you think they're going to push it even further?
I hope not. I hope we get it before... I don't think it'll be delayed anymore. I think the movie had some real CG issues that I think they wanted
the TV show did.
The TV show, the Disney
Ms. Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of talked about briefly that we feel like her power set, they're going to go back and redo her power set. But we'll see.
All right, so we've got that coming February 17th next year. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is premiering May 5th. That's been moved up 2 weeks. So that's a huge change for them. Moving that movie was originally going to come out May 23rd. It's now moved up to May 5th, which is fantastic. So they originally were going to release a movie on Memorial Day weekend. They pulled it up a couple of weeks. And I don't know if this was a conflict with other movies that were being released at that time. But that's a big shift, a 2-week shift moving it forward. 2.5 weeks, I guess, or 3 weeks shift. That's a big deal there. So that's May 5th, 2023. And then that year we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, July 28th of 2023. That is coming out. We know that we're going to get Kang the Conqueror in that movie. Who knows what other character is going to premiere there. I'm sure we'll get some hype about that one later this year. But that is the end of the announced slate of movies. But what Disney did this week is they came out with release dates for other untitled Marvel projects all the way through 2024. So there's one on the schedule for November 3rd of 2023, which means that would mean that we have 4 Marvel movies in 2023, which is awesome.
That'd be cool.
Right? And then they released 4 new dates for 2024 untitled Marvel movies. February 16th, 2024, May 3rd, 2024, July 26th, 2024, and November 8th, 2024. 4 more movies from Marvel in 2024. So we get 4 in 23 and 4 in 24. That's fantastic. So we have 5 untitled Marvel movies coming out between November 3rd of 2023 and November 8th of 2024. Let's talk about what we think those movies are going to be.
Well, we know 3 already. 3 have to fit into that slot.
We know 3 that have been
announced.
So these are projects that have been announced that we know have been greenlit and they're moving forward with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blade, Fantastic Four, and Captain America 4.
So those 3 have been greenlit. Yeah. They said, hey, we're making these movies. We're doing them.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 that have officially said, we're making these movies and they're coming out. I believe one of either Blade or Fantastic Four will be the November 3rd, 2023 movie. So that November movie of 2023. Wouldn't surprise me if it's Blade because of the date right around Halloween, but I'm hoping it's Fantastic Four. And from what I understand, the Fantastic Four movie has begun production.
Really?
Pre-production has started on that movie. So we should hopefully be getting some more information about that soon.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody on the internet is dying to find out who's being cast in that movie and what it's going to be about and everything else. So, and again, there's been rumors around the Fantastic Four, well, potentially a version of Reed Richards showing up in Doctor Strange, and potentially the Fantastic Four.
He's part of the Illuminati.
Right.
We know the Illuminati's part of that movie. I mean, it would only make sense.
And whether it's the person that's been cast in that role in the Fantastic Four movie or somebody who played that version of that character in previous movies, we don't know. But there's also rumors that the Fantastic Four might show up in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which would also make a lot of sense around the timing of them coming out with their own movie later that year. So we'll see. I'm hopeful that's the first one that comes out, and then Blade right after that would be fantastic. As you mentioned, Captain America 4 on the schedule. You know, Anthony Mackie's been given that role, and they're making a movie with him. Let's hope Sebastian Stan's part of it, because the two of them together were just magic. I mean, they're really great.
Oh yeah, definitely Miami Vice kind of vibe.
Exactly.
Lethal Weapon kind of vibe.
Right.
Well, Sebastian Stan has come out and said that Kevin Feige is a genius. He deserves more credit for building this universe and this ongoing storyline and the way the whole MCU flows and blah blah blah. And he said, I'll be in the MCU as long as they want me to.
Yeah.
That he's come out and said that, which is cool.
And you know, I love what they've done with this character too, and especially in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV series. It just really, we barely got to know him, and then got to know him a lot better in that series.
They humanized him.
Yeah,
He's no longer just a blunt weapon,
right?
A blunt tool. He's
which he was in the Winter Soldier movie,
Yep.
and then ultimately in Civil War, they humanized him a little bit, but it is a lot more difficult. And he just didn't have enough screen time in Endgame, you know, or in Infinity War and Endgame. He just didn't have enough screen time, right? But all right, so those are three we know are coming that have been announced. They just haven't been given dates, and they haven't been attached to any of these dates yet either. So we don't know that for sure either.
Two more are up in the air.
So here there are rumored projects that we know are coming, but they haven't been officially announced. So let me throw some out there.
Okay.
Deadpool 3.
Yep.
That one we know Ryan Reynolds is working on currently. Was interviewed.
He said he was going to release information sooner than later. That's what's his quote.
Officially, he's been interviewed about a movie he's got coming out on Netflix in a couple of weeks. They asked, "Hey, how's Deadpool 3 coming?" He says, "We're working on it every yeah." He said, "We're working on it every day. I hope to have some news to share with you sooner than later," that's a huge announcement. So he's basically saying we're going to announce something soon, which means at least, if anything, we're going to get a date.
Yeah, that would be great.
So that's one.
Considering his cameo in Doctor Strange.
Which may happen. So that's one that I'm thinking. So that leaves another date. And I'm going to throw a few projects out there that I think that open date might be.
Okay.
First one, some type of mutants movie, whether it's an X-Men movie, a movie called The Mutants, or whatever they said they might have. But I think there might be an X-Men project sometime before the end of 2024.
That would make the most sense. Because if we do get mutants in Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, that would absolutely make the most sense.
Yeah. And
considering now
nothing would make me happier, since they're my favorite comic book team. But I mean, they have to do something. They can't sit on these Fox characters forever. They got to do something with them.
There's too much noise about Doctor Strange 2 and Wolverine showing up and other cameos in that film, not for them not to do that. That would make sense. I would agree with that. Okay.
So that, I think, was to be most logical. The other one that we know has been greenlit, but we haven't heard anything about dates or productions going forward, is Shang-Chi 2.
Yep.
So that one, we did hear that Simu Liu is going to be getting a sequel to his movie sometime in the future. So that would be one that would be logical as well in one of those 2024 dates.
I would put that before Mutants
Really?
I would, yeah. Just because it's more public, and and his movie wasn't that long ago, and if they wait too long to do a second one, I think they're going to lose some of that momentum. So I would put that, and then Mutants.
Right.
What else you got?
Well, the other one of them, which I think is highly unlikely that this would be one of these dates, and that's Spider-Man 4, Tom Holland Spider-Man 4, whatever that new Tom Holland has been given a new contract. We know that he's doing another trilogy with Sony and Marvel. I don't think Disney would be announcing a Sony movie date as part of these dates. No. So I do think another Tom Holland Spider-Man movie will come out probably before the end of 2024, but I don't think it's part of these dates.
Oh, I think it'll be in 2023.
You think it's next year?
Yeah, I think it would be. I think they're going to start production very shortly, probably in the fall, and then December 2023.
Wow.
Would be aggressive, right?
Well,
when is Kraven the Hunter coming out?
So that's another Sony project we don't know anything about either.
Well, they know that Russell Crowe has been cast in that. A lot of different actors now all over the internet have been cast in that movie.
And I believe and this may have been updated with the new sharing agreement they have with Marvel. But originally, when Sony had the rights to the Spider-Man character, they were obligated to release a movie every 3 years, and if they did not, they would lose the movie rights to that character.
Right.
So that may have been updated, or because of the new sharing agreement, I don't know if the obligation is still there they used to have, and that's why we got the Tobey Maguire movies as every 2 years, and then we got Andrew Garfield, and then 2 years later we got another one of him, and then we got Spider-Man after that, Homecoming right after that. So there's part of that, but. Again, I don't think it's part of these dates. I think that Sony's going to announce that on their own.
That's a separate thing.
Right.
That's a completely separate thing.
The other one that I think might be in the mix somewhere, and I don't know or don't see how this would happen prior to the Mutants or Shang-Chi 2, and that's the Thunderbolts / Dark Avengers / Young Avengers movie. Some type of team-based movie. And as excited as you and I are about that happening, I just don't know if it's going to happen that quickly.
I don't think it'll happen that quickly either. You're right. There's nothing that would make me happier. And you bought a great one of my favorite comics, the Young Avengers classic comic that's here on the show, on the set tonight. I would love for the Young Avengers. I think the Dark Avengers they're setting that up.
They're setting up something.
Here's
my theory.
But let me ask you this. Here's my theory on what could be a character that they're introducing already in one of these movies this year. Could be 2. 1, Namor movie, a standalone Namor movie,
potentially,
and another one, the Illuminati, a standalone Illuminati,
potentially. Movie. Yeah. So I mean. Look, we've got that's the beauty of the book of characters and the history of characters that they have to pull from. They have a lot of options.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's the most exciting about this. The fact that we have the dates is great, but now attach some projects to those dates. Please, just tell us what's coming. I mean, stop teasing us. There's so much potential there. I would not be surprised. My theory was, I think Captain America 4, which we do believe is coming before the end of 2024, I think that might be kind of an Avengers 4.5. Just like Captain America Civil War was Avengers 2.5, I think Captain America 4 might be a movie of Sam Wilson kind of pulling together a team, of Hawkeye, individuals. Yeah, or maybe even the young ones. I mean, that would be... How cool would it be for Sam Wilson to be leading mentor. Kate Bishop and...
Yelena Belova.
Well, whether she's on the good side or the bad side, we don't know. But She-Hulk and, who knows? All these other characters are getting introduced. They may have a new team together, and Sam Wilson has to bring them together.
Introduce that into...
I think that Captain America movie is going to be maybe that bridge between the next Avengers movie that we're looking for.
Nice.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
That would make a lot of sense. I like that. I'd love to see that.
You don't
have to call it Young Avengers, but give us that vibe.
Yeah.
Put these
the next
young
generation of Avengers,
Sure.
right? Just call them that. And we hear
Isaiah Bradley. I mean, he was introduced in that.
Right, the Patriot.
The Patriot. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's starting to make sense. The puzzle pieces are falling into place.
Yeah, and who knows? Again, Kevin Feige is the only one that knows what's happening, right? And which is the beauty of this. But I'm hopeful. You and I talked about this earlier this week as well. The official San Diego Comic-Con is back on this year. It has been off for the last 2 years because of the COVID pandemic. In 2020 and 2021, they canceled the show. They had somewhat a virtual show last year, but they had nothing in 2020. We got our emails this week that the tickets for that are going to be going on sale here shortly. I may try to go this year. I'm not sure. I'm not going to go by myself, but if my son wants to go, maybe we'll go. I know you said you're out of town.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that with things opening back up, they want to get the fans excited again. They want to get the fans
in the theater
revved
again.
up back into the theaters. And I think San Diego Comic-Con this year is going to be off the charts good. And I think that's where now big announcements haven't come from Marvel there. They usually do it at the Disney D23 and Disney Investor Day. But I do believe we might get some big announcements around that time frame, which I believe is the July time frame, right? So boy, I just the fact that we have these dates now, it just excites me to to know that we have 4 movies in 2023 and 4 in 2024. That's awesome.
Oh, it's spectacular. I mean, there's still rumors of a Nova movie, possibly a Ghost Rider movie. But I think it would make more sense, and I think you're absolutely right with your predictions on what movies will be coming out. I think it would make more sense of characters that they're introducing in this year or possibly early next year, characters getting their own movies like that. But, man, Young Avengers for Captain America 4 to introduce
How
the
cool
Young
would
Avengers.
that be?
It'd be awesome. I mean, it would be awesome. It's like Captain America Civil War. That was an Avengers movie, dude.
We might have Wiccan and Speed. After Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, we might have, we have Kate Bishop now. I mean, we've got a roster of, and as you mentioned, Isaiah Bradley. We've got the Patriot if we want him. I mean, there's a team that he could lead.
There absolutely is. Yep. She-Hulk. We're gonna get Miss Marvel. Wow. And we haven't even gotten into Disney Plus shows.
No.
We're in the dark.
Right.
After this year, we're still in the dark.
Well, we're the only thing that we know about is Moon Knight. I mean, we anticipate that She-Hulk is going to be the next one coming out after that, but we don't know. We don't have a date for that yet.
No.
So hopefully sometime soon, but yeah.
And also remember this, that we're also going to get in December Avatar 2, and then the following year we're going to get a Star Wars movie, and then the following year we're going to get Avatar 3.
Well, I do believe there's a... the first Star Wars movie we're getting is Rogue Squadron. Yeah. And then there is a untitled Star Wars movie coming out in 2025 in December.
Well, the schedule that I saw, they were alternating the Avatar movie and the Star Wars movie in that December time slot.
Because Disney owns Avatar now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got to protect that franchise too, right? So
well, you got 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming out.
Yeah, I know.
He filmed all of them.
I know. It's going to be crazy.
That's going to be nuts.
All right. Well, folks,
let me ask you one question while we're on Star Wars. Would you?
Would I?
Would you?
Would I what?
Would you spend $6,000 to stay in
the
Imperial Starship?
Yeah, the underground
Galactic
Starcruiser, the Galactic Starcruiser that they have
hotel.
now. Hell no.
$6,000.
Hell no. That's what it costs. That's like the lowest entry level room is for how many days?
I think
it's like a 5-day stay or whatever.
No, I think it's 3 nights. 4 days, 3 nights.
4 days, 3 nights.
But it's completely immersive. Like,
no.
You have roles. You have
pick
things to do.
What is it? You pick the Rebellion. You pick the the Imperials or whatever they're calling them now, or you pick so there's the Imperials, the Resistance, and then there's another one. There's like some like bounty hunters or something. Yeah, you totally, it's like fully immersive, and you can like cosplay the whole thing, and it's like, and then
even your room is interactive. I mean, the food.
Oh, the room doesn't have a window. The window is like a TV screen of space, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the whole thing about. I mean, it's no. I $6,000. Well, that's like, I don't know.
I'm sure it'll sell out, and I'm sure there's a waiting list. But $6,000, I mean, it's got to be absolutely. I got to have a real lightsaber for $6,000. You got to give me a real lightsaber.
Man, I don't know. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I'm not much of a Star Wars geek. I mean, I like Star Wars, but I'm not that much of a guy to do that. But I mean, that's like just you got disposable income. That's what you do. I don't have disposable income. Yeah. So, all right. And then the other announcement, which kind of leads into our topic of the week, is Disney Plus. We did announce that all of the Marvel Netflix series are leaving Netflix February 28th, which is tomorrow.
Yep.
So today and tomorrow, the last days you have to watch those series on Netflix. But we did get an announcement from Marvel and Disney that they're coming to Disney Plus on March 16th. So
we were just talking about this.
We did. We just talked about that like 2 weeks ago.
Like
we know they're coming to Disney Plus.
How could they put Daredevil or not
the Punisher?
The Punisher on Disney Plus. And I think when Kevin Feige was talking about Moon Knight, and he said this is a different thing.
It's a fundamental shift in what we're doing.
There's a shift in what we're doing on Disney Plus, and you're going to see that start with Moon Knight. I think that's what he was referring to.
Well, we assumed that if they went anywhere, they're going to go to Hulu.
Because of the graphic nature of the show.
Or they could put, more graphic content on Hulu, right? And that's where they put the what was the series with Patton Oswalt with
MODOK.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean that was graphic. It was like, they cursed and all kinds of that's not going to be on Disney Plus. And we assumed it was going to Hulu, but Disney has said it's coming to Disney Plus. So they're putting Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, they're putting them all on Disney Plus March 16th. Hey, good for us as fans, that have subscription to Disney Plus. We get to watch those again whenever we want to there. But you're right. That's R-rated content. No question, R-rated content.
We just talked about this.
I don't think there's anything else rated R on Disney Plus right now.
No,
I can think of. I can't think of anything. So, hey, big announcement, but you know what? To your point, maybe Kevin Feige saying, hey, we need to embrace the R-rated content, and maybe this means eventually Deadpool 1 and 2 might make their way to Disney+.
Wow, that's R++ rated, so maybe.
And the one thing I was disappointed to learn, so one of my favorite Fox movies, Logan, which was the final movie with Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Phenomenal movie.
Oh, it's the best.
Phenomenal movie.
No question.
And just the pin on the final...
The career of Wolverine and Professor X.
Was so good.
Yes.
So I was like, hey, I haven't seen that movie in a while. I want to watch it. It's not available anywhere. Like, you can rent it. Like, you can pay to rent it. But it's not like on Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus. Or it's nowhere.
Wow.
You have to rent it. And I'm like, that's odd that it's not available anywhere. Anyway, I was just kind of interested to hear that. But
great movie.
Yeah, it was great. I would watch that movie again right now.
No question.
I was looking for it last night. I couldn't find it. All right. Well, let's jump into our topic of the week. Speaking of Netflix Marvel series. We wanted to jump into a recap of the Jessica Jones series on Netflix. If you're interested in potentially checking in on this character and watching this, hey, watch it on Netflix today and tomorrow, and then in a couple of weeks, in 3 weeks, you'll be able to see it on Disney Plus. But this series was the second series to premiere on Netflix from Marvel, which was surprising. We knew they got the 4 characters. We knew they were coming out with Daredevil and Iron Fist and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, and we were really surprised that Jessica Jones was the second one they chose to release. We're like, wow, that's one that I wouldn't have picked.
Especially after the success of Daredevil.
Right. And again, we talked about Punisher a couple of episodes ago. That character did not debut until Daredevil Season 2, and he didn't get his own series until after Daredevil Season 2, so that came much later in the cycle. But Jessica Jones was the second series that Marvel released on Netflix, and we're like, well, okay, interesting. And I understand why after watching the first season, it was great.
Yeah.
It literally is probably the second best. If you want to throw Punisher in there, maybe the second best or third best. But Jessica Jones was easily the second best or third best series that Marvel had on Netflix, without question.
Yeah.
The star of the show is Kristen Ritter. She plays the character Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones is a troubled character. She's an alcoholic private investigator. So she is literally...
with superpowers.
Right. She has super strength. She is strong as all get out. And she was... the history behind her powers is she was experimented on without her knowledge or consent and given this super strength. And then so she has it. But... she decided to become a private investigator and use her super strength to help other people. But she is a mentally troubled person just dealing with all kinds of internal personal demons and drinks like nobody's business. Like every show, it's like her sitting down at the table with a bottle of whiskey and just, chugging back.
Especially in season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They made it clear that she's got a drinking problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially in season 1, because you learn a lot about her inner demons in season 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So season 1, interestingly enough, the stars of season 1, we had Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones. Mike Coulter, who played Luke Cage, was in Jessica Jones. And we, again, were hopeful that Luke Cage would be getting his own series, which he did get after the first season of Jessica Jones. But he premiered in the Jessica Jones series, which... from my perspective, was great. I'm like, oh my God, I get Jessica Jones and Luke Cage in the same series? That's fantastic. And by the way, Mike Coulter did a great job. He is literally was the perfect casting for Luke Cage. Just huge, strong,
great actor.
African-American man who just played that character very well. But plays a prominent role in season 1 of Jessica Jones. Rachel Taylor plays Trish Walker, who's Jessica Jones's best friend, who also happens to be a child star. She was on a child television show as a child. What was it called?
She's kind of like her sister too.
Yeah, but
not fraternal,
but adoptive sister.
Adopted sister.
They were like as close as sisters.
Yeah.
But Trish Walker is very famous. She has her own radio show now called Trish Talks. But she was a child star. She was in a TV show, and I can't remember the name of the show. It was like Here's Trish or something like that. Yeah. But everybody recognizes her. Everybody knows who she is. But she's very famous and very successful. While Jessica's like this, low rent alcoholic private eye, which is a great dichotomy there. Carrie Ann Moss plays Jerry Hogarth, who is a lawyer who Jessica Jones does work for as a private eye. Carrie Ann Moss from the Matrix trilogy was in this series, and she plays a pretty despicable character throughout all of the seasons of Jessica Jones, as a matter of fact. But the real big star of season 1 of Jessica Jones was David Tennant played Kilgrave, who's the Purple Man from the comic books, and he just played this character so brilliantly. Little bit of history lesson behind the Purple Man. He does have superpowers where he can influence other people, basically control their minds through his voice. So his voice has special, the intonations of his voice can control other people and make them do whatever he wants. And it was a really big key to the whole entire season 1 of this show, right? So she eventually we learn about her being a PI and doing work for Jerry Hogarth. We get to meet Trish. She meets Luke Cage in a bar. They end up hooking up, and they are now kind of friends with benefits type of thing.
Yeah.
We meet Kilgrave.
That's a crazy sex scene.
Well, two superpowered, incredibly strong people having sex. Yeah, the
I think they break the bed.
The apartment was not in the same shape it was before that scene. But we do meet Kilgrave, and he had taken control of a young girl. Her name was Hope, and Jessica Jones is hired to find her by her parents. She goes and finds Hope and rescues her from Kilgrave, brings her back, but finds out that she's still under Kilgrave's control, and Hope ends up killing her parents. So now Jessica and Jerry Hogarth has to defend Hope, and there's this trial about, hey, why did she do this? And now Jessica's pissed off. She's like, I got to take this guy down. I mean, this Kilgrave guy, and she's got a long history with Kilgrave. Yeah. We come to find out that she had been under his control for years, and he had used her and her super strength to commit crimes, to kill people when he needed them killed. She was the one who did it. And we find out that she ended up killing Luke Cage's wife under the control of the Purple Man, which kind of, causes some conflict between the two of them. Ultimately, Jessica Jones does capture Kilgrave. She learns from some doctors that his powers can be controlled if they chemically subdue him, basically, put him out. She's able to put him into a room that's soundproof, so she can kind of keep him from controlling her from a different room. She finds Kilgrave's parents. He ends up getting his parents to kill the father to kill the mother. It's terrible, and then Kilgrave ends up escaping. Ultimately, he ends up. Jessica looks for Luke Cage, who's in his bar. The bar blows up, but Luke Cage survives because he's got indestructible skin. But finds out that Luke Cage had been under Kilgrave's control the entire time. So when she met him, when she first found him, Kilgrave had been manipulating Luke Cage the entire time. They have an incredible fight. As you can imagine, two super powered beings fighting each other was great. But ultimately, spoiler warning, end of the first season, Jessica Jones learns how his powers worked. That if she can't hear, he can't control her, and she kind of meets him and can't hear anything, and then ultimately she snaps his neck and kills him, and boom, the devil has been killed. However, he continues to haunt her for
another whole episode, whole season.
The next two seasons, his voice is constantly in her head. But he was a brilliant villain. Brilliant. I mean, just somebody that controls somebody's mind. Really, just totally worked her, and it was a great season. I don't know about your opinion of this when you first saw it, but
it was the best season.
First season of Jessica Jones was the best, and it was great. Yeah. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
And not only made me excited for the next season of Jessica Jones, but also for Luke Cage. I'm like, we get to get this guy gets his own series, right?
Now, the Luke Cage series was, because of contractual, we get into that later, but wasn't as good as Jessica Jones for sure. But yes, great. And I liked season 1 was the best.
Yes. Just to describe this, Jessica Jones was the only Netflix series to get 3 seasons beside Daredevil. Daredevil got 3 seasons, and Jessica Jones got 3 seasons. All the other shows only got 2 seasons, partially because of the agreement with Marvel being terminated, but also because Jessica Jones and Daredevil were the 2 most successful, and they deserved a 3rd season basically. Yeah. Season 2 of Jessica Jones really centered around Trish Walker, helping kind of prompting Jessica to look into the company that basically gave her superpowers, which is a company called IGH. The ones that experimented on her. Trish, this ex-boyfriend she had, finds out he's been working for IGH and has this inhaler that if you inhale stuff out of it, it gives you super strength temporarily. And Trish is a recovering drug addict, and she ends up getting the inhaler from him and uses it to because she's always been jealous of Jessica and her powers and her ability to kind of fight crime.
Yeah.
And Trish always wanted to be that person, but she becomes addicted to this inhaler that she's got. But there's these other characters from IGH that had been experimented on that superpowers.
Yeah.
A bunch of them show up, and then they end up being killed, kind of weirdly, who's doing all of this. there's a whole side story with Jerry Hogarth, the lawyer, who has been diagnosed with ALS, and she's been duped by these people who are trying to take advantage of her. Trish is so jealous of Jessica when they kind of uncover who's behind IGH. It ends up being this guy, Dr. Malice. One of the other big characters that gets introduced in season 2 is Jessica's mother, Alyssa, that she didn't even know was still alive. So Alyssa was also part of this IGH program and is not only super strong, like insanely super strong, even stronger than Jessica, but also insane.
Yeah.
Like just like crazy person.
Definite mental issues.
And she had been hunting down people and looking for Jessica and was just killing people randomly. Jessica ends up finding her and finding out that she still has a mother and, that they're, their relationship. And they end up tracking down this Dr. Malice. Unfortunately, Trish decides to let him experiment on her, and he starts doing the same procedure that he used on Jessica Jones on her. It gets interrupted by Jessica. The factory blows up with Dr. Malice in it. Alyssa, Jessica's mom, had been in love with Dr. Malice for some odd reason. She was in prison. She had turned herself in for killing all these people, but then she escapes from prison. Jessica goes to find her to help protect her and get her away from trouble. Trish ends up finding the two of them, and Trish ends up killing her mother to save Jessica. Jessica was going to get killed by her mom, and then Trish ends up killing her. But Jessica takes the fall for it. So that Trish can be innocent. And then ultimately, at the end of the season, we get a little scene where Trish drops her phone and catches it with her foot. So we find out that she's maybe got some of the procedure that the doctor was doing on her kind of took, and she's now got some kind of superpowers.
Yeah.
So that was season 2 of Jessica Jones. And again, there was a season 3, came out in 2019. This one really focused on a serial killer, Gregory Salinger, who was just out, just randomly killing people, and Jessica's trying to hunt this.
Brilliant. Yeah, like he didn't have superpowers.
No, but he was a sick human being.
Yeah, very disturbed and felt like people that were given superpowers and they're fake and they're he had a vendetta against them, so he
had it out for superpowered people,
and definitely Jessica
and was
Jones
hunting them down. Yeah. Right,
but he's got like 3 or 4 degrees, and he's really, really smart, and he outsmarted a lot of these people.
Well, he ended up capturing Jessica. Surprisingly, she's super strong, but he ended up finding a way to subdue her and capture her, and he was like filming her and doing. I mean, it was like crazy. But this also. This season centered around Jessica's new partner, Malcolm, who we met in season 2, started working for Jessica on the side, but now he's kind of like become his own private eye. He ended up going to work with Jerry because he was pissed off at Jessica. Yeah. And then there was this other private eye firm that was, competing with Jessica's, run by an Asian guy. I can't remember his name. But this season really centered more around Trish. She realizes she does have some abilities that she was given, and she's really trying to hone them to become. She wants to become a superhero, basically, and she's training every day, and she's like, trying to hone her skills, and she's going out at night with a black mask on to kind of fight crime and stuff. But
reminiscent, her comic book character was the Hellcat.
Hellcat,
yeah.
Yeah, that was the character that she was portraying in the show. She ends up murdering the serial killer Salinger, which to Jessica's surprise is very
you don't do that.
Yeah, like we don't kill
Heroes
people.
don't kill people,
right? And Trish was like, "Well, this guy's a serial killer. What are you talking about?" And
if I recall that whole series, Trisha was always like avoiding morality whatsoever and was doing her justice like she was judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
And Jessica didn't believe in that. So they had 2 very different philosophies.
Right. And she was, while Jessica was, again, Trish was incredibly jealous and envious of Jessica for a long, long time, and finally she's got talent and skills, and she's using them, but she's using them for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
And whereas Jessica always had super strength, but she only used it when she needed to. Like, she wouldn't like kill people; she would just knock them out. Right? That was like the way that she did it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, she gets Trish sent to the raft. Funny enough, this was kind of around the same time frame as Captain America Civil War, when we first saw the raft prison, where all of the Civil War participants on Captain America's side were sent afterwards. Trish ends up getting sent to the raft by Jessica, so she sends her there. And at the end of season 3, and again, there's a whole side story with Jessica Hogarth and her ALS and all kinds of others. I don't want to get into too much of that. But at the end of season 3, Jessica's basically, she's done. She's just like, I'm done with the PI business. I'm giving it up. And she's, she turns over her PI practice to her friend Malcolm. She's like, you take it over. It's yours now. You do it. I'm leaving. I'm going to buy a train ticket. I'm just going to go somewhere very far away and just get away from all of this. And at the end of the series, it kind of like, she hears the Purple Man's voice in her head and saying, are you giving up again? Is this the last thing you want to do? People to remember you by?
Just quit. Yeah. Just go ahead and quit.
That's what you do. You're so good at it. You quit. That's all. And then so we were kind of left. We knew this was the end of the season because at this point in time, Marvel had ended its sharing agreement with Netflix. There was not going to be any more Jessica Jones, but we were led to believe she ends up turning around from the counter and walking away. So we believe that she stayed in New York. And
she pushed her ticket back, if I remember. Pushed her ticket back and staying in New York. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we have heard rumors. Again, if you haven't watched the Jessica Jones series, and you're looking for something to watch, they were incredibly entertaining, very well acted, great characters, good plot, good storyline. Again, I thought this was, from all the series, was probably the best character-driven series behind Daredevil. Really well done, and likable people that played all these characters. And we've talked about this in the past, Titanium, is that I think the downfall of all of the Netflix series was that they had this contractual obligation for each season to be 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And what you'll find in watching these is that
filler episodes.
That there's some filler episodes, but it takes so long to get through certain parts of the plot, and it's just like, oh my god, get there already, right? Yeah. And it's just like you just felt like the series was dragging a little bit, and I think it was because of that contractual obligation to have a 13 episode run. And then we saw that through all 3 of these seasons as well. It just took a long time to get to the end game, really. But again, Jessica Jones did really well. We hear rumors that we may see the Jessica Jones character again very soon. We may see Kristen Ritter coming back as that character.
That'd be great.
Again, the big rumor is She-Hulk series is when we're going to see her. We're going to see her come back as a private investigator.
That would make the most sense.
Working for Jennifer Walters.
As a PI. Yeah, that would make the most sense.
Oh, my God. And we'd all go crazy. Just like we went crazy when we saw Charlie Cox in Spider-Man No Way Home. We'd be like, oh, my God, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And she, Kristen Ritter did a great job of playing this mentally troubled, alcoholic private investigator.
I can't imagine anybody else playing that character.
Right. And she's like a skinny 5'7" girl that could just lift a car and throw it down the street, which is really, really cool, right?
It was, yeah,
really well done.
Good show.
Yeah. All right,
Professor, great breakdown of that Jessica Jones, the 3 seasons of that. Awesome. You hear it? Yep, that's the bell.
Bell's ringing.
All
right, well, that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week for more Super Talk. To get in touch with us on social media, hit us up via email, supertalkpodcast@outlook.com, or at supertalkpod on Twitter. Until then, stay super, everyone.
And we're out.
Thanks, YouTube. Thanks again. We really appreciate the likes and subscribe. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Everyone likes this game. Haters gonna hate.